Hi, everyone. It's exciting to be here. I wanted to talk to you today about data. Certainly, we've been talking for the last 3 days about how data helps you make great products and makes products better through continual refinement. We did that a lot at Tell Me. We were doing that a lot at Flipboard. But I wanted to talk today about something that I think is actually more important and maybe somewhat controversial. But the idea that I wanted to kind of explore a bit here with you today is, when is it important to ignore the data? When is it important to put emotion in front of the analytics? I think that when the time comes in your career, in your company, to build a breakthrough product, not just an iteration, not just an enhancement to what you've been shipping, but something truly new, something that's going to be a hit, you've got to set aside the data. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some examples of this. The first thing I want to talk about is this. This is a 1957 Jaguar XKSS. It is, without question, one of the most beautiful cars ever made. Just look at it. I mean, come on, this is like a serious car. You don't see cars like this driving around the highway today. The lines are incredibly beautiful. Now, this car was made at a time when we had very little access to data. The designers, the engineers, really didn't know how to optimize for maximum aerodynamic efficiency, for example. And so the lines of this car were drawn by an artist. And that's very important, because the data was not there. And so they ended up creating something that felt good, that had emotion to it, that had a soul. This is a car that has a soul. Now, of course, today we have incredible technology that allows us to build cars virtually in a computer, put them in a virtual wind tunnel, and run wind past those cars and have the contour of the car change and shape by the computer for maximum aerodynamic efficiency, which is certainly important for things like gas mileage, speed, etc. Now, when you do that, you get cars that look like this. This is actually the most aerodynamically efficient car on the market today. It's actually tied with the Toyota Prius. This is the Honda Insight. This is a drag coefficient of 0.25. Now, if you compare that with the Jaguar has a drag coefficient of 0.47. To put that in perspective, that's just a little bit better than a Hummer. Now, this car is a superior car in many ways to the Jaguar. It's fast, reasonably fast anyway, not as fast as the Jaguar, but it's efficient, it's safe. I'd put my kids in this car. It's green. It makes you feel good when you drive it. You're doing something good for the environment. But still, I mean, look at it. It's not very inspiring. There's no emotion. The soul of this car was designed out by the data. The data left something that is a perfect aerodynamic form, but there's no emotion. There's no art. And that is critically important in building a hit product. We see it time and again, especially from Apple products that have emotion in them. If you look at the Jaguar, you'll see that this is a car that was destined to be a legend. It was because it was designed with a soul, and the data was put aside. Now, let's talk about how this applies to us here at Web 2.0, and as we build products on the web. Now, of course, the web is all about browsing beautiful content, right? In fact, that's where I got this awesome photograph from. Now, to browse the web, though, you need a web browser, of course, right? You've got to have all the navigation, the toolbar, the bookmarks, the URL bar, the status bars, etc., that come along with that. And, you know, you're going to be visiting websites, and these websites typically have navigation on them. You know, all sorts of toolbars and search engines and things like that that you can use to navigate through all this content. And then, on top of that, of course, we have to monetize. So we have ad banners, we have skyscrapers. You can see where I'm going with this. We, as an industry, have gotten very good at using the data to look at every square inch of that screen and make it maximally efficient for click-throughs, for driving users to different areas of our websites. But at the same time, we've engineered out the soul. Where's the emotion? Where's the inspiration? This is not inspiring. We have the soul of the website is the content, but we've narrowed it down to this little box. And that, I think, is something that is destined to change, and I think it will be great for the industry when it does. Right now, just like cars that you see driving around on the road, cars, as they sort of strive for that perfectly aerodynamic form, they all start to look the same. Well, that's kind of happening with websites, too. So what's the solution here? Interestingly enough, the solution has been right under our noses for decades. It's print, magazines, newspapers. This is how this content wants to display. Beautiful photograph, taking the prominent role in the viewing, and beautiful typography, pieces of text placed in just the right place to create a sense of rhythm. Also importantly, not a scroll, but a page. Content that you page through to create a rhythm, a story that people lay out. This is a far more inspiring website than the one I just showed you. Now, of course, this isn't all that practical to view on a desktop computer. First of all, how do you navigate? There's no buttons. What do you do here? This is where the tablet comes in. This is why the tablet is such a big deal. Because now, for the first time, information becomes the interface. It becomes the way you navigate through the content. Now you just swipe, and you magically navigate through this content in an order and a rhythm that editors can put together and tell a story and evoke emotion. It's actually a feature, not a bug, that you can't just jump to anywhere at any time. You can go through a story here. And when you come across an ad, instead of a banner ad that's interfering with the content and taking real estate from the content, instead, we have a full screen for the content to breathe, as well as a full screen for the advertising to breathe in. And this is truly breakthrough for digital advertising, yet this is what we've done in print for decades. And this works. These ads are far more valuable and will subsidize the content far more effectively than we can on the web today with banner ads. Now, I believe that the future of the web really is going to be more like print. Not exactly. Obviously, there's going to be differences. It's going to be more interactive. But increasingly, I hope that we'll see a future of the web that puts content first, like we do here in Flipboard. This is a screenshot from Flipboard. This is National Geographic, one of our partners. You just flip through this content like pages in a magazine. They instantly load. We put the content first. We set it up so that people are drawn in using the standard timeless principles of print and graphic design. Each page is incredibly readable. It's just a pleasure to read and to look at and to scan. And most importantly, it's beautiful. It has a soul. We put content back at the front and center of the web where it belongs. And we can have it shine. And I believe that when you look at content like this, you're going to have an emotional reaction. You're going to look at more of it. You're going to be more willing to look at the ads and buy products that people are advertising for you in this form. Look at this. These are all websites I'm showing you. These are all actual websites written in HTML5 displayed on Flipboard on an iPad. This is one of my favorites. This is the New Yorker. This is a cartoon. I love you can't really read the caption there. It says, no worries, next 1/8 of a mile. But look at all the white space. When's the last time you saw a website that had all this white space? But we need this white space to be able to enjoy the content and have it stand out. So to summarize, I think the thing I just want to leave you with is it's important sometimes to look at the data and use the data to enhance what we have. But when you want to have a breakthrough product, when you want to do something totally new, when you want to create a hit, something that resonates with people, something that inspires people, where that emotion comes through, you've got to be willing to back away from the data. Because after all, great content, which is what the web is all about, is art. And art creates emotion. And emotion defies the data. Thank you very much.
Mike. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.